Hey, what is up, awesome people? Shady back, and I have a big task ahead of me because in these two huge bags is a BootLEGO Ultimate Collector Series Slave 1 just waiting to be built. This is a lot of blocks. It's a little bit over 2,000, so I have no clue how long this is going to take me. These Ultimate Collector Series ships are much larger than the regular size ships, but I can't wait to see this thing together because the Slave 1 is my all-time favorite Star Wars ship. It's number one on my list because I love the backstory on the ship, and I've always liked the odd design of the ship and how that design affects the way the ship operates. I'm not going to do a speed build here because honestly, I have no clue how long this is going to take me. This is the biggest, most technical build I've ever done, and to make matters even more complicated, this is the Leppin King version of the Slave 1, and it comes with unnumbered bags, and there's no specific parts in each bag. So yeah, this is going to be more difficult than building the Lego version because that version, the bags are numbered. Now the trade-off is the Lego version is now retired, and to get that is going to cost about $400 to $500. And I think when that was retailing, it was $200, something like $200 or $300. This BootLEGO version cost me $80, but it's just going to take a little more work. Now the first thing I did was I went ahead and I made a trip to the dollar store and I bought about 10 plastic containers. Then I went ahead and started separating out the blocks by color, and then I sorted them down again by size. That took about 2 hours, but I thought it would make things quicker in the long run. I don't know, would you guys have sorted them like this, or would you have just dumped them into a big pile? I thought about the big pile thing, but man, it just seemed a little bit crazy to do it that way. Well, anyways, after they were sorted, then it was time to get to work, and I'm not sure exactly how many hours it took because I lost track of time. It took a total of 5 days to complete, and in those 5 days, there were times I was working on this for like 8 or more hours at a time. So if I had to guess, it probably took roughly around 30 to 40 hours, but it was definitely worth it in the end because here is the completed BootLEGO Slave 1 build. I'm not really sure you can actually appreciate the size and just how nice this model is unless you're actually in front of it. My wife, who is not even a Star Wars fan, and she actually hates Star Wars, made the comment after I was finished that she could not believe how nice this thing was. So yeah, it definitely is an impressive piece. Now, if you're thinking of buying this for a child, don't. Absolutely don't. This is a difficult build. It's extremely technical and probably the most difficult build I've done to date. If you're buying one for a kid to play with, again, don't do it. This is not a toy. It's a display piece. It's a model you're going to finish and display on a shelf or in a display case. And that's because, for one, it's pretty heavy. It weighs about 3.5 pounds. It's not something you could easily just move around and play with. And the second reason is it's kind of fragile. If you watch the designer's video on the UCS Slave 1, he makes the comment that it's sturdy, and that's only half true. The bones of the ship are sturdy, but everything on the exterior, all the little decorations and the wings are not. If you watch that video, you're going to notice he's very cautious of where he's putting his hands on the ship when he lifts or moves it. And that's because if you pick this up in the wrong spot, things are going to pop off. And when you have pieces falling off on a build that's this big, it's challenging to figure out where that piece goes back on. As long as you're not moving this thing around a lot, it's going to be fine. So like I said before, this is more of a display show-off piece. Now this is a King block set, which is Leppin bricks, which are generally okay. They snap together well. The only issue with Leppin bricks is that when they come out of the mold, they have these extrusion marks on the brick. It's not a deal breaker for me, but if you're a perfectionist and you want them to look as close to Legos as possible, then you're probably not going to be happy with it because all those bricks are going to have those extrusion marks. Okay, let's look a little bit closer at the ship here. Let's go ahead and turn this around so you can get a look at the bottom of the ship, and you can see just how much detail went into this model. Up here is the magnetic turning antenna. We have the thrusters here at the top and the 2 engine thrusters here. Not sure why they made them blue. That's not a Leppin thing, it's a Lego thing. They're blue on the Lego set also. This was released in 2015, so the earliest I can remember seeing the thrusters on the Slave 1 was Empire Strikes Back, and in that movie they were orange. So I don't really know why they made them blue. Now right under here, this part flips down, and actually the only purpose this serves is just as a door if you drop something into the middle of the ship so that you can get it out. Because there's no other way into the middle of that ship. The ship sits on the stand between these two blocks right here. Doesn't snap in or anything, just the pure weight of the ship holds it in place. Nothing else is functional on the bottom, but you can see there is a lot of detail there. On the back side of the wings, the stabilizing flaps here do move up and down, and these wings will auto-rotate positions as you move the ship. The cockpit cover comes off. It's connected by 3 rods up here. You're supposed to pull to unconnect the rods, but that connection is so tight, I find it easier just to take the whole backside of the ship off. In the movies, the Slave 1 cockpit and crew quarters are built on a gyroscope mechanism that keeps the pilot and the crew upright, regardless of the position of the ship. And you can mimic that movement here by rotating the pilot seat. The cockpit has 1 pilot seat that is enough room for 1 mini and vertical flight display and 2 in landing display. On the left and the right sides of the ship, we have the concealed weapons, probably built in by Django. A lot of the weapons in the Slave 1 were concealed to give the ship a non-threatening appearance. These doors open and close to conceal the weapons, and they actually didn't close by following the instructions. And I went back through those instructions and I rebuilt them about 3 times, and I couldn't get them to work. So I had to redesign this a little bit to get those to open and close. We have this just beautiful color scheme. This is pretty much exact to the Lego color scheme with the dark green, dark red, and sand green. Now there is another BootLEGO version of the ship. I'm not sure what brand it is, but on that brand the dark red is off. It's more of a pure red, but the King version is spot on. And lastly, here down here at the bottom, we have the dual rotating blaster cannons. Now let's go ahead and take this off the stand and put this into landing mode. We look into the cockpit, we can see all the pilot controls up front. You also have additional controls behind the pilot seat, so if you wanted, you could put another minifig back there. And then if we rotate the ship around here, we have back here the entrance into the ship up this way. And you can flip down this door, and that's where carbonized Han Solo is stored. You can take him off that door, then if you want to put him back on, you just clip him on there, and then you flip the door shut. The model does also come with a display stand and the UCS plaque. I guess the one thing I was a little bit disappointed in is that you don't get any additional access to the inside of the ship. You get the cockpit, and that's about it. The crew's quarters, the prisoner cells, and the cargo hold were pretty much just an afterthought and were not included into this build. Overall, I had a blast building the ship. It was so much fun. And it was challenging, not only because the bags weren't numbered, but because some of the instructions were not crystal clear, like normal building block sets. So it forces you to use your brain a little bit more. But this has to be one of the most rewarding builds I've ever completed. As a Star Wars fan, it's something that I'm going to love displaying, and I'm probably going to have the rest of my life. I don't really care that it's not Lego. It could be Duplo for all I care. It's a super nice ship, and I only paid $80 for it. If you're interested, I'm going to put the link in the description. I'm probably going to do some more modifications to the ship, so when I get those done, I'm going to post another video on that. Let me know what you guys think of this BootLEGO Slave 1. Do you think this was worth $80? I'm interested to know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.